Hello, Santa Clarita. You do need to know. You need to know everything, what to be in the know, or whatever we used to say. Anyway, this is Santa Clarita's hometown station, M1220 KHTS. You are listening to the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John. It's the radio digest version of the Santa Clarita Gazette and Free Classifieds. Here we are every Friday at 1 o'clock, actually 1:04. We have to wait for the news to be over. We've got to hear all the good news from the national news and before we can come on. So anyway, I'm Doug, and my partner's John, my co-host. John, how you doing, buddy? John, is your mic on? John.
Oh, sorry, Doug. I'm on my break.
Break?
I got a union break still.
Did you read my rant?
Yes,
Did you read my
I
rant?
read your rant. What do you have against unions? You're going to be like...
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
You're going to be buried in some freeway somewhere with Jimmy Hoffa.
Did you read why I'm up? Oh, I couldn't believe it.
That's just work ethic. It's not unions.
No. You think so?
Oh, of course.
Folks, if you didn't read my rant in this week's Gazette, real quick, I went to Chicago last week, went to the airport, decided to park in LAX parking. It was a nightmare just getting to the airport. We're on the shuttle, waiting for the shuttle for a half hour. The sign says it's going to be 7 to 10 minutes. This guy pulls up. He goes, "Oh, I can't pick you up. I'm going on break."
So he's going on break.
So he goes break. But why did he drive by like he was going to pick us up? Okay, anyway, this bus comes 30 minutes later. We cram on. There's no room. We're starting to pull it out of the parking lot. She goes, "I'm going on break. I need everybody to get off this bus, get your luggage, and go to the bus behind me."
Nah, they probably should have just switched drivers, which would have made sense.
Thank you.
You really think it's
Thank
unionized?
you. I don't know. It's either union or mismanagement. Now, I should have gone to Wally Park, where I usually go, or the parking spot there. They're nice to you. They go above and beyond. You know why? Because their job performance depends on what kind of customer service they get.
Okay,
the people driving the shuttle buses at LAX at the public parking have no concept of good customer service.
So this was public parking at
I don't know. It's at LAX. Yeah, that cheap parking you go to, and everybody parks there.
So was it airport run, or was it off-site?
No, it's airport run.
Okay.
Well, does that explain it?
That explains a little bit more, but still,
What is terrible customer service?
Are you done?
Yeah.
Jeannie, I'm going to call Jeannie. She's going to yell at you if you're not going to let me talk.
Okay, sorry.
Terrible customer service. Horrible customer service. Okay?
Yes.
Terrible. I mean, the fact that they had two people go on break, the fact that they had everybody on the bus and they didn't just switch drivers and have that person drive the bus.
Yes.
It's silly. Okay?
And then wait, there were so many people on the bus that you couldn't put your luggage up on those little stands.
On the racks?
Yeah, in the racks.
I get
people were
that.
holding it,
Okay.
and she still stopped, made everybody get off and get on another bus. We all had to cram in again.
Did you confront her? Did you ask her?
Yeah, I said something to her.
What'd she say?
She said she looked at me like I was an idiot.
Wow. Boy, first time you've seen that one, huh? Not saying anybody would ever look at you like you're an idiot there, Doug. First time for everything, I guess. Ooh. No, okay. But my point is, horrible, rotten, nasty customer service, I grant you. Terrible way to run a business, I grant you. Why are you generalizing and saying it's union?
I don't, to be honest, and I wrote this in the column, I don't know if it's union, but it's something. Those people did not care about their customers. It was blatant, poor customer service. Whatever the reason. I can only assume it was union or terrible mismanagement, and it's all connected loosely to a government entity, and that is the problem with the government all over the nation. Have you ever gone to the DMV? What kind of customer service you get there? You ever gone to a Social Security office?
Are you going to let me talk?
No.
I didn't think so. I'm going to call Jeannie. Don't make me call your wife. I will call your wife, okay? My point is that I don't think you can generalize and say, "Oh, unions this, unions that, government this, government that." I think it's an epidemic that permeates even in the private sector.
Can I say something now?
Please.
But
there was a pause.
In the private sector, you're held accountable. If you give, if that lady bus driver at LAX had been working for Parking Spot or Wally World or another private entity, she would have, I feel, could have been fired on the spot, and she should have been, or at least reprimanded.
Okay, but you mean to tell me that you've never had bad customer service outside of the government? Really?
Of course I have.
Exactly.
But usually, if it's the right kind of company, it gets changed.
And if it does, and sometimes it doesn't. See, you shouldn't have it in the first place, and that's some of the stuff you wrote. I completely agree with. It is an endemic, and it is an epidemic that is permeating everything. It's kind of like I'm entitled to my job. I'm not here to serve you. I'm here to work.
Exactly.
Okay? That I have no problems with. But when you sit there and you go, "Oh, it's got to be union or it's got to be government," I'm like, "No, it's everywhere."
But in this case,
go to Walmart and stand in line. Okay?
They give you a little bit better customer service at Walmart. At least they smile.
Oh,
You know?
Okay, I'm sure this lady was smiling when she was going on her break. You are just as bad as Mark Cuban. You are stereotyping for absolutely no reason.
Oh, Mark Cuban.
You heard what he said.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, okay, walking down the street and you see somebody, you see an African American, you see a black person with a hoodie. What are you going to do? It's 2:00 in the morning. Chances are you're going to cross the other side of the street.
And then if you see a white guy with tattoos all over and the tattoos all over his shaved head, like Mark said, you're going to go back across the street. You know what I'm sick of, John? This political correctness.
And that's
You can't. What? It makes me crazy.
What
It
is-
almost gets back to the Donald Sterling thing.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
the
you
same
could
thing.
say how terrible that was. I agree, but it was just talk. It was just talk.
But see, I don't have a problem with him because what he said was, we all have stereotypes, and
Yes.
I'm pointing out that your customer service rants stereotyped unions, and I don't think there's a lot of people who are in the unions that work hard.
or government or something. It was just reeked of it.
It's a stereotype.
It's the same thing. You ever go to the Social Security office? You're too young, but they don't smile. They act like they don't care when it's time. There'll be the post office is a great example. Go to the post office. There'll be a long line, and it's time for the person at the window to go on break. She just looks at the people in line and goes on break. You know, if you're working at McDonald's and you
You're
want to
gonna
go
get
on
that-
break and there's a long line, you don't go on break. You get those customers served.
Sometimes you do, though. That's the problem. All right. Well, I guess we'll agree to disagree, even though you're wrong. All right. You're listening to the Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be right back. So, Doug, I think if your point is that in the private sector you're going to get bad customer service and it's going to affect their bottom line versus you're going to get bad customer service in the government sector and it's more prevalent, I'd probably agree with you. But I don't think I would agree with you lumping in unions necessarily with the government.
Well,
I think you may be throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
I know.
a little there.
We don't have time to go into it, but there's a lot of union, not all. There's many good union workers, but there's some union workers that feel like they're entitled and protected,
Gotcha.
and they
All right.
don't care.
I'll give you that one.
All
Give you that one. All right. You want to tell people who we are?
Oh, yeah. This is Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. This is the Gazette Radio Hour, the radio digest version of the Santa Clarita Gazette and Free Classifieds, for all you need to know to be in the know.
Now, it is interesting that, I think we kind of both agree that if you have a small business yourself in the private sector, and you have bad customer service,
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble. It's going to affect your bottom line. People are going to know about it.
Yep, they are.
People, like your story in the paper, the Yelp story.
Yep.
You know what Yelp is, right, Doug?
Yelp. Yeah, it's when I step on my dog's foot, right?
Yeah, no, it's on that newfangled internet thingy that you always talk about.
That Yelp.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. No, we did a feature on it too. We did a 2-part series on it. In fact, we have our staff writer who wrote on it, Jessica Vidal. Jessica, are you with us?
Yes, I'm
Now-
here.
Good.
Okay, don't be shy, Jessica. Speak up. Now, listen, before you started covering the story, what was your perception of Yelp?
I use Yelp a lot. I use it for pretty much everything, really.
Well, why
Until
don't
I
you?
started hearing about it.
There's probably a lot of people listening, like Doug, who don't know what Yelp is. What exactly is it, and how does it work?
Essentially, Yelp gets businesses' information from third parties, and they post it, and people start commenting and reviewing it, saying what they liked about it, what they didn't like, and they have the address, hours. Sometimes they have menus, depending on what it is.
Now, you said third parties.
Right.
Do they get that information from third parties, or do they get it from the businesses themselves?
No, the businesses are not contacted unless they want to be involved in their Yelp page.
Now, what do they have to do to be involved in their Yelp page?
You have to make an account, and then you have to verify that you are working there or the owner or manager of the account.
And do you have to pay them anything?
No, not for that.
Okay, what do you have to pay them for?
Advertising.
Aha. Does that reflect from what your research found out, if you pay or not, what kind of advertising you get from Yelp, or recommendations or reviews?
Well, it kind of depends. They'll say that it doesn't matter what kind of reviews you get based on how much you pay for advertising or anything. But some of the people that were complaining, they all have really great reviews, but they also have advertisers who have really bad reviews.
So wait a minute. You mean to tell me that it looks like Yelp is going to let you have good reviews if you're an advertiser versus let you have bad reviews if you're not an advertiser?
That's what they say.
And they is who?
Local businesses in different parts of the country, including Santa Clarita.
Yeah, let me just read a couple quotes from the story. One gentleman said that never in a post, and he's just saying it's terrible. Yelp is a terrible website. I'm waiting for the lawsuits to start happening.
Wow. So Jessica, okay, when you go to Yelp, okay, you say you search for Mexican restaurants, and Bob's Mexican Restaurant comes up, right?
Right.
And it's going to have all the information about Bob's, and none of that that's just from a third party. That's from somebody who put it in completely blind, right?
Right.
Okay. And then there's these customer reviews. All right. Now, when you search, I'm trying to get this whole advertising thing down. When you search, if you're an advertiser, do you come up first?
You come up usually towards the top, or you'll come up on someone else's reviews as a competitor.
Oh, so it'll be like, if you like this one, try that, or this one was bad, try this one instead.
Right,
thing.
something like that.
Okay. And then when you go to that site, their ranking is higher than if you didn't interview.
Often it is.
Wow. Now, is this going to affect the way that you use Yelp? You personally?
I mean, you see it more often. If you're an advertiser, you see it more often. So I'm assuming people will see it, they'll go there, they'll give it a good review.
Yeah. But what about the way you would use Yelp? Have you paid attention to this?
I have. When I use Yelp, I usually go to the people who have higher stars, regardless.
Wow.
But now are you going to think twice because you know some of the background of this?
Yeah, I'll definitely think about it a little bit more. There have been a couple places I've been to that have bad reviews, and it's almost like I don't even know why.
Now, if you have a bad review, is it easy or hard to get it removed?
Yelp says you can't get it removed at all.
You cannot?
You cannot.
Okay. Even if it's a bogus review?
They do get rid of reviews if they're have nothing to do with the customer service, or they're just complete lies. So they'll look into that, but it's not very often.
Yeah. Do you know whether whether the business owner has the ability to comment on a review?
They do.
Oh, okay, good. Because otherwise, it's like, man, I mean, you could really light somebody up and destroy their business, really.
Well, but a lot of the times the business owners aren't even aware of their Yelp status.
That's scary.
Okay, here's what one business owner said that you quoted, Jessica, in the story. It says they also won't take down a competitor's post, and they filter all the good posts and leave all the not-so-good posts for all to see.
That's scary.
That is. And I think, I've heard other local businesses here in town call them the Internet Mafia.
Wow.
Because there's some folks that have some bad experiences.
Well, Jessica, I think you're going to get a good review on Yelp from me if that matters to you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks. Hey, keep us informed on this one, because that's a little scary. The cyberbullying going to businesses now, I guess. Wow. Scary. All right. Well, thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks for your time.
All right. We will read all about it in the Gazette Free Classified. Isn't that right, Doug?
That's right.
That's where it is, right?
Every week.
Every week. All right. You're listening to the Gazette Radio Hour with John and Doug on AM 1220 KHTS, Santa Clarita's hometown station. We'll be right back.